Hey guys, Crystal here at Crystal's Crafties. Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create your own custom original alpha sets from scratch. So you see we've got this here. I also did this one, and all of that came from this alpha set that I created. Now I did turn these into Canva frames and they are for sale in my Etsy shop. If you want to purchase that, go for it. I'll leave a link. But today I will show you how I created this alpha set so you can create your own and then you can sell them on Etsy. Just like last week, if you have any prayer requests, go ahead and drop those in the comments. We did get a couple prayer requests last week, so go back, read through those comments, and if you feel led to pray about that, please do so. All right, so a couple things we need to create our alpha sets. We need Inkscape. That's how we're going to do this. So obviously, I've got other tutorials on Inkscape. You can check those out to see how to install it, get it set up. It is absolutely free to use. And then we need a font. I'm going to get a font from Creative Fabrica. You can get a font from wherever you want to get it from. I love Creative Fabrica because I have their all access membership, so I can get anything I want, and it comes with a commercial license. So just hop over here to fonts. You do want to pick a font that's got a little weight to it. You don't want something super skinny. So I find that if I come over here to these display fonts, those are generally along the lines of what will work for what we're doing. This is here. I'm just going to go ahead and get this one. I don't have it. I think it will make a fun Doodle font or fun alphabet pack. So I'm going to get this. I've clicked on the font. You just come here to download. There it goes, downloading to my computer. Okay, let's open that zip file up. You're going to get two font files, an OTF and a TTF. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, but I always download the open type font. So here that is. I'm going to right click. Well, okay, I'm going to double click and then hit install. And that will now be installing on my computer so that I can use it to make this alphabet set with. Okay, now that I have that, I need to open Inkscape. It's important that you install your font first. Inkscape works with whatever fonts are already installed on your computer. If you open your Inkscape page and then install a font, you'll have to close out Inkscape and reopen it. Okay, so here is the standard Inkscape. I'm going to decrease the size of that box a little bit, and I'm going to set this up to be the size that I like to design on, which is 3000 by 3000 pixels. So I've come to File, Document Properties, going to change this to pixels, and then 3000 by 3000, hit enter, and now my screen is much bigger. I'm just hitting the minus key on my keyboard so that you can see my design space here. Okay, we downloaded that font. Let's get it in here. Let's start working with it. I'm going to start with all the capital letters first. So I've hit the caps lock on my computer. Come over here, grab my text tool, click on the screen so that I get text that's going to pull up. What was the name of that font? Smart Candy? Let's go find the font Smart Candy. There it is. And let's make it like maybe 200 in size. Okay, so now we're just going to type out the alphabet. All right, so there it is in all capital letters. We're going to do the same thing in all lowercase letters now. So text, tap onto your keyboard. It should already say Smart Candy, and Okay, so I picked a font that only had uppercase. I should have paid a little more attention when I was picking out a font. But if you have one that has upper and lowercase letters, this really wasn't great for the tutorial, but we are going to continue on. You will do this whole thing all over again with your lowercase letters, and then you will come in and do your numbers. And your symbols, you want a comma, a period, a question mark, exclamation point, @ sign, and pound sign. Hashtag, whatever you want to call that guy. Okay, so these are what we're going to start making our alpha set from. I'm just going to increase the size of this. Notice I selected both things to increase the size so that everything stays in proportion. And I do want to add a little bit of spacing between these letters so that when I start adding different elements like background layers or squiggles or lines or whatever it is I want to add to these, I've just got a little room to work with. Okay, so I'm going to select my top group. Going to make sure I'm in my text tool over here. And then you've got these different options over here. If you click this, you'll see the spacing. I'm just going to really space that. In fact, instead of hitting the plus sign, I'm just going to go ahead and put this at like 60 and hit enter. That gave me some room, but I don't think it's enough. Let me put it at 80. Okay, then I want to do the same thing for my numbers. So I've selected my numbers, grab this, and I'm just going to put that at 80 as well so that everything stays nice and even. Okay, I've got my letters, got my numbers and symbols. We need to turn all of these into a path so that we can work with it and get all the extra little things that we want. Right now it's just text. So select this group, come path, object to path, very good. This group, notice right here it says text, but if I do path, object to path, now it says path. And it's all still grouped together, but we want to work with each letter individually. So we need to select this, and then we come to path, split path. And now I have each individual letter that I can do whatever I want with. I'm going to Control Z to get all those back in a pretty little line. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to select it, path, split path, so now that each little letter is individual. Okay, from here, you can do anything you want with these letters. You can give them, let me see here. So you see how mine have, first of all, it has this little stroke around it, this first little small outline. Then it has a larger stroke and a larger stroke. Let's add the little outline or little stroke first. So I'm going to decrease the size of my screen. I want to select all of these, and I want to come over here to my fill and stroke menu. If you do not see it here, click this little arrow. It'll pull up all the different things you can have, and you should be able to find your fill and stroke in there. Okay. If you click stroke paint and you click this first solid box, it will put a stroke on all of your letters. You can then decide how big you want your stroke to be. Do you see what's happening here? My stroke is getting bigger and bigger. Okay, I'm going to increase, whoops, I gotta click out of that. I'm going to increase the size of my screen so we can decide exactly how big we want this stroke. Okay, we're just going to work with the M right now, and then I'll come back and make everything uniform here in a minute. There's a couple different things that we can do with this stroke too. Right now that stroke is on top of the letter because of the way I have my settings. But if I come down here, I can move it to where that stroke is behind the letter and you can barely see it. I'm going to put it back on top. That's just how I like mine to be. And I think I want it to be a little thinner, so let's see. Let me maybe change the color so I can see it a little bit better. Let's make it like this orange. Whoop, I didn't want to make the letter orange. The letter can be black. The stroke. Or that yellow, that's fine. Okay. I think that's probably going to be good for the size that I would like, so let's see. That stroke is 1.540. Let's just make it 1.5 so it's a nice round, even number. And now I can decrease the size of this. I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to come to stroke style, and it's all going to be 1.5 and enter. Same thing here. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to add a stroke, so I've gone to stroke paint. I'm going to select that first box so the stroke gets added. Stroke style 1.5 and enter. Perfect. Okay. So now we have strokes around our letters and symbols, strokes around, our numbers and symbols, and strokes around our letters. Let's change these letters to something a little bit lighter. So let's see, I'm going to select everything. Maybe let's make the letters, I don't know, like a pink. And then, let's see, the stroke. Let's make the stroke black. That's going to be good. And do the same thing here. Select everything. Stroke paint. I'm just moving it around the color box to a black. Okay, so now we have pink insides and black strokes. It's time to add the fun little quirky things. So like this one, I just came in and added all of these little lines in here. Let's get that going. This is the most tedious part. This is what will take you the most time, but it is also what will set your alpha set apart from other alpha sets. You know, some people would just stop right here, or they might you know, make another offset layer and call it a day, but we're going to give ours a little character. So to do that, you want to come over here to your pen tool and just have it on the first selection here, and you can just kind of click in wherever you want your lines to be. So I'm going to click here and here. I'm going to increase the size of my screen so you can see what I'm doing. And then to end the stroke, I'm going to click the arrow, the selector tool. That stroke is a little thick for what we want on the inside, so we're going to come to our stroke style again in our fill and stroke menu. Now it's at 1.5 because that's what we did previously, but for these inside ones we want them to be much thinner, so I dropped that down. I'll put it at 0.5. There we go. Okay, and we're going to change the shape of it now. So while it is selected, we're going to come over here to our edit nodes tool, and you can just kind of grab it and bend it wherever you want it to go, and you can move this around and you can move that around, and then you're going to get some other little handles in here. Perfect. When you are done, you have to click out of it. If you start clicking around anywhere else, you're just going to start adding new points onto that same existing line. So there's one stroke. Let's come get, let's do one here. I'm going to get to my nodes, and I'm going to kind of put that there, click out of it, and let's get another one maybe like here. Perfect. Bend it a little bit. Okay, so there's one option you can do. Let's do something a little different with this B. Let's put them on the outsides of the letters this time. So here I'm going to get my pen tool. I'm going to click here and here, get my nodes tool, and then I'm going to drag that, whoa. Okay, what happened here is it put a fill on my stroke. If this happens, you're like, oh my gosh, That doesn't look right at all. Just come back to your stroke here. I'm sorry, come to your fill. You're in your fill and stroke menu. Come to this fill and turn it off. And now you are left with just your stroke. We do want to edit that. I don't think that looks very good. So I've clicked into my node here. And I can just do whatever I want with it. Okay, let's get another one for this part of the bee. You'll want to take your time and make sure these look good. I'm just trying to be a little quick with you guys so that you can see how to do it. But I'm not gonna make everything absolutely perfect. Okay, so that's how you would do lines. Let's say you want squiggles. Well, maybe instead of your pen tool, you just come grab your pencil tool and then you draw yourself some squiggles, just like that. And there's your squiggles. Something that you can do with your squiggles if they're not looking nice and clean. Let me see here. I'm going to select this squiggle. Then I'm going to grab my nodes tool. I'm going to select all of these nodes and I'm just going to make them all rounded out. Make selected nodes smooth. So it just gives it a little more of a even stroke. There are some things I will point out when you're in your pencil tool. You can mess with all of this stuff here. You want your smoothing to be decent, a decently high number. I think 40 is great. This is pressure and stuff. You can mess with that if you want. But what I would do is grab your pencil tool, start with a 40 smoothing. You can even start with 7 and 4 and just start drawing lines. And then if you don't like that, come and change it. Let's say we want to put this up to a 15 and see how that feels to you. Okay, back to a 7. Let's put this to a 19, sure. Draw yourself a line. That actually got really smooth. That looks nice. I would leave all the settings right there if I was creating this design, and then I would come back in here and I would get my squiggles going wherever I want them. So those are just some options that you can do. You can also add little circles. Drop that back down. If you want, you can grab your circle tool, hold the control key to get a perfect circle. Now this circle doesn't have any fill because we just changed those settings, but I'll come to fill and turn it on. I'll come to stroke and probably turn that off. And now I've got little circles. Let's make it black. And I can start placing them around the letters wherever I want. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate. So you can place these little circles around your letters too. There are so many fun things that you can do to make your alphabet completely unique and original. Okay. I'm going to delete all of this stuff that I have on here. One more thing I almost forgot. When you're using these tools here, I'm going to increase the stroke on this so that you can really see what I'm talking about. Okay. You will never make a stroke this large, but I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. You notice how my stroke has these rounded edges? That's because I told it in my fill and stroke menu. You know, we're over here in stroke paint, we're adding a stroke color, and then we come to stroke style and we use this to make it how thick we want it. You can actually make it dashes. You can make it, there's all kinds of different stuff you can do over here. But you can also change the caps. The ends are what we call the caps. I have them rounded. You can make them squared. You can make actual squared lines. But if you want them rounded, you want to take your caps to right here at this rounded one, okay? All right, let me delete that. Now, if you are wanting to add layers behind here, you've got your inside, you've got your little initial stroke on there, but you want a bigger offset or a bigger shadow. You want to just duplicate your letter. So I did right click and duplicate. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn this stroke off so that we cannot see it. So I've come to stroke and I'm going to hit the X. Okay. Now, grab my nodes tool. I'm going to see all these crazy things pop up. I'm going to hold the control key and the right parenthesis. I'm going to do that about 4 times. And I now have a much thicker shadow to go behind. Let's make it maybe this color, and you'll see I'm going to have to move it behind. It's on top right now, but I'll use this arrow to drop it all the way to the back. That did not get thick enough, so I'm going to take my nodes tool again, hold control, right parenthesis. I did it 3 more times, and now I have that shadow layer. Let's do it again. So duplicate. I'm going to turn the stroke off, grab my nodes tool, and if you don't want to do control and right parenthesis, you can do path, and you can do linked offset, and you're going to get this little diamond here, and you just drag that diamond to wherever you want it. Change the color, and then let's put that back behind there. It does leave you with this extra one that you need to delete though. So there's several different ways you can go about that. You want to make a 3rd layer. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that B that I just did. I'm going to, let's make it maybe like this color here. Get my nodes tool and do that again. And drop it to the back. Oops. If I want all those to be kind of evened up together, I've selected them all. I'm going to align them horizontally, vertically, and now I have several layers behind. You will go through letter by letter by letter, number by number by number, adding all of the different offsets and fun little quirky things that you want to add to your alphabet until you have got it all done. And then, if you want to sell this as an alpha pack, you need to export each individual letter so that your buyer can edit each individual letter however they want. To do that, we're going to come over here to the export. If it's not up here, you want to come to File and Export, and it will pull up over there for you. And then you want to batch export. And then what that will do, you can come in and select, let's say I'm just going to only export A, B, C, and D. It is exporting each portion of what you've got there. The reason these A's and B's have more is because I have all those layers behind them. If you don't want that to happen, you can group it. So I've grouped that. Grouped that. Now if I select A, B, C, D, you see I only have A, B, C, and D. So it will export all of them for you instead of you having to one at a time go and export them. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. We'll see you next time.